I am seriously a nerd. I found these sunglasses that my sister got me for Christmas, and I just think they're so cute. She knows I love flowery things, but I haven't worn them because my face is so ridiculously narrow, and these are very big. But I was like, oh, they match. Can't tell, but they match my shirt so well. Like, I've got to wear these. So, yeah, if I look like a big fly, which I know I do, that's why. But I was like, oh, I'm just going to put them on because they're cute. Yeah, that's my life. Fashionista going to the most boring job on the planet. But hey, girls got to do what a girl's got to do to feel good. Where I work is so stale, and I get people are sensitive to scents, but when I first went back to work after working remotely, I had on this natural deodorant. It was lavender, but it didn't have all that stuff in it. So it did smell like pure lavender, and oh yes, I got spoken to. You don't wear any scents whatsoever, God forbid. It's just funny. Yet people will wear ripped jeans and baseball caps. I don't mean to harp on the workplace because I'm very grateful to have a job and to have benefits. So it's not all bad, but it's just little nuances that are funny because I work in a very tiny office, which honestly reeks of smoke, but whatever. I'm not going to complain about the scent, and my deodorant didn't bother anybody in my office. It legit was somebody who was walking behind me coming through the door because somebody in their office, who I probably never have any contact with, doesn't sense or allergic, or I don't know. I don't know how that all works, but is it really going to bother them that much, me walking through the doors? I'm not sitting next to them or anything like that. It's just things that I get. People are sensitive to scents, and I fully comply. Of course, am not going to wear it, but sometimes it's just, man, it must be hard to go to the grocery store or do anything, go to any store if scents bother you that much. I understand if you're sitting next to somebody and you're smelling it all day. Oh, yeah. I mean, that I could see where that would be a problem, but if it's bothering you that much, just walking through the hallways, I feel bad. I'm not sensitive to sense that, so I'm not judging because I don't know. It's not something I deal with. But anyway, I just lost track of where I was going there. No scented deodorant or perfumes or hairsprays or anything like that. So I'll just wear my cute clothes and call it good. I think since the pandemic, everything, I don't know, I think a lot of people have started turning on I watch a lot of commentary. It all started by looking things up. It was always, how do you do this? How do you do that? And then I must have somehow hopped on to something. And anyways, I've somehow been drawn into just commentary. I think it started with anti-MLM, so multi-level marketing. And then I was into a lot of self-help stuff. So I was probably looking that up, but then I came across an and I started seeing the other side of things. And that really did pique my interest because I am one that I want to see all sides of the coin. It's self-help isn't for everyone, and some people find it toxic, and I can see both sides to that for sure. You have to have a healthy balance. So all of that has kind of guided me towards people who talk about family blogging and the dangers of family blogging. And I created a couple of little videos about that, story time videos. I've written some stories about it because I do think it is very dangerous for kids to be put out on the internet like that because you do have a lot of predators. And I think a lot of young parents don't. I think a lot of people that grew up in this world we live in, a lot of these people that are having kids, they grew up on the internet. So that's normal to them. So I get it. That to them, that's how they grew up. That's their way of communicating. So it's a total different world than how I grew up, where you didn't have internet. But I think my generation kind of sees that and it's, oh, well, that could be very dangerous because if you do think of the predators online that are watching your kids, you don't really want that. Let's put it this way. If I found out there was a child predator or P or whatever you could say on the internet out there, I'm not going to take my child where that person lives or where that person hangs out. I'm going to make it a point to keep my child away from there. It's one thing to put yourself out there, but when you put your child out online, you are definitely, you're letting the predators come to you. I know you're not going to them on purpose. Obviously, nobody would do that. Well, maybe some would, but nobody in their right mind would actually go seek them out. But if you're putting your kids out there, you're giving these people a platform to seek your kids out, and that's where it gets dangerous. So anyways, I'm not here to rant about that, but I did start watching some of that commentary, but then I see people making commentary with that intent to talk about the dangers of that, but then they start talking about one another. So it's just interesting to me. So it's this reality TV kind of where commentary person talks about another commentary person, then they end up, they have fans that are watching them who start fighting with these fans who are watching them. It's just kind of amazes me. Wow. I'm not going to come on here or name names on any other person that's creating videos because I don't know them. I watch a couple different commentary channels and one's, well, if you watch this person, this person's done this, 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 and this, and then same thing on this person. Well, if you watch this person, well, you know what? I'm going to watch both of you because I'm entertained by both of you. But I'm not necessarily entertained by you guys bantering back and forth. It is what it is. I think it's probably maybe one person felt attacked by the other. So if somebody puts something out personally about one, the other probably feels they need to retaliate. I don't know. You kind of lose the message, I guess. So in my opinion, I'd rather just stay in my own lane and not veer off into anybody else's because people can choose to watch them or not. It's not up to me to tell them why they should not watch somebody else. It's like you be you, boo, and you watch who you want. You might not like this person, but you find them interesting or you like parts of what they say, so you support them. That's my talk for today, and I will probably check in with you when I leave work. So happy Friday, guys. Okay, I'm just leaving work, but I wanted to read I write a little sticky with my affirmations, and I haven't said these affirmations all today, but today from the Course of Miracles is, there is no love but God's, and the world I see holds nothing I want. And I'm going to kind of go with the world I see holds nothing I want because, don't get me wrong, I am not a hardcore Course in Miracles or anything like that. I take little bits and pieces from everything. I don't think there's any one right way. What I can tell you is through A Course in Miracles, a lot of it resonates for me personally. I'm not suggesting everyone go read A Course in Miracles. I don't be one of those preachy people. But what I will say, for some reason, that just resonates with me. When I started reading it, which it reads like a Bible, so it's not like it's easy reading, but for some reason, it just resonated with me. And I've read it a few times and I get something out of it every time. And then I forget about it. And it's some of it's so far-fetched that it is kind of hard to take your mind to where it wants to guide you. When it says, the world I see holds nothing I want, what it's kind of saying that this isn't our reality. This is not our reality. And I don't know if anybody else has ever wondered about dreams. And I don't know if anyone has had lucid dreams. I've had lucid dreams where I know that I'm in a dream. Mine tend to be like nightmares. So I've been in these dreams where I know it's a dream and I know I don't want to be in that dream because it's very scary. And so I'll scream to wake myself up. It's very weird. I've talked to other people in my dreams and it's like they're not real. I can't even explain it. It's so weird, but if anyone else has had it, they know what I'm talking about. Anyone who has not had a lucid dream, I'm sure it sounds absolutely insane, but it just makes you wonder when it seems so real. Could life be a bunch of dreams? Is there like a parallel reality? Do you ever think that? I don't know. A Course in Miracles, a lot of it is you basically create your own world. So your world is created by your beliefs. Beliefs come from what? Your history, things that have happened to you, what you were taught. Everybody has a different set of beliefs because we've all led different lives. So if beliefs are really formulating our worlds, it's all in perception. It's all in the way we see things. And I do think about that a lot. You can choose to look at. Now, this is kind of funny because a lot of the commentary people out there who make fun of toxic positivity, which I do get a chuckle out of, but like Tony Robbins will always say, look at life as happening for you, not to you. If you do perceive life as happening for you or you're creating your life, I think there's a lot that could be said for that. We can choose to see ourselves as victims, or we can choose to change our minds about what is bothering us. We cannot control what other people do, but you can control your response to that. And I'm saying that, but believe me, I don't follow it. I have to be in the right frame of mind, like a good mood, to be following that. But it does make sense when I'm in a good mood. Makes a lot of sense when I'm in a good mood. But when I'm not in a good mood, it's annoying. But anyway, A Course in Miracles basically says this is not reality. I can't really go into the whole background of it. We're living in a world. Our bodies are housing our egos. And we all have these separate egos, right? Egos being formulated by our beliefs. And then the egos did their own thing and they housed themselves in like different bodies. When we die, we will hopefully go back to whatever source we came from, and the body just goes away because the body's just a shabby shelter for the ego. And then, I don't know. It's very complicated and I can't really give a lecture about that, but I wanted to talk about ego because when I was talking earlier about commentary channels, you hear often that people will start off on YouTube or whatever with very good intentions and no intention for conflict. I don't know. People start off down to earth, like to connect with other people, to feel that connection. But the more that people follow them and connect with them and boost their egos, the ego can certainly take control when you are trying to build a channel or be an influencer. An influencer to me is kind of like the ego is trying to take over. And in my mind, when I've thought about coming on here, I don't like being center of attention at all. But I feel like I have a lot that I want to express. And I'd like to think that what I say resonates with somebody, that it helps somebody. But I don't know. You hear of all these influencers that, they get very popular, they get a lot of followers, and then they become too big for their britches, per se. Their ego takes over. I think that this is definitely something that could be very bad for somebody who allows the ego to take over. We are human, so that is going to happen. I mean, that's being human. You're going to let the ego take over at times. I'm going to let the ego take over at times. We all do. I mean, it makes sense, but I think for some people, it's actually made them not so nice of a person, or I don't know. Do you think that for some people, it kind of puts a damper on who the person is? Do they become a little too full of themselves. Does the purpose change? I think is what I'm trying to say. So maybe the initial purpose of going online was just to, for something fun. Like I like creating videos. I like editing videos. I just think it's fun. I don't even expect anybody to really watch it. And if anybody does, I just hope it's somebody who gets something out of it. I'm not interested in really going back and forth with talking and all of that, like comment. I don't want to get into arguments with people. That's not what I'm about. But the more popular you get, the more other egos are conversing with you. And the more egos you get together, again, you start clashing. And once you start clashing with somebody and you get snarky or mean, then somebody else is going to be like, hey, you were just snarky. It feels like it can turn into a very triggering web of conflict. And I don't know. To me, it's like, I wouldn't want there. For me, honest to God, it helps me to say what I'm feeling sometimes. Seriously, when I'm on here, I'm just processing. I'm just saying out loud where my brain would be going anyways. And if I do this, this is going to sound weird, but when I do this, I sleep better because everything that I would be thinking of when I go to bed and can't sleep now is out there. I've put it out there. And so, yeah, it is selfish in some ways, but I just hope that I don't know, I hope that it helps somebody somewhere, even if it helped one person. It's like, hey, it's worth it. So I'm gonna go before I ramble way too long. And happy Friday, TGRAF everyone, and I hope you have a great weekend. And I'll hop on next time I have something to say.